A spectacular moment occurred last year when a family strolled through fields during the lockdown and found a Roman villa complex featuring a rare mosaic representing Homer's The Iliad, considered one of its most striking and significant findings in Britain. The Romans used small white and black tiles to make beautiful patterns, which we now call mosaic art. Many materials were used to make these square tiles, such as seashells, glass, ceramics, and stones. Before the building started, a new layer of mortar base was put down. Mosaics were made by hand, by skilled people who got the stones and pebbles they used as tesserae from the area around them. These artists also employed more modern materials in their designs, like brick, tile, pottery, marble, and glass. Ceramics, bricks, and glass were glazed in different colors so that the natural color differences in the materials could be used with other colored inks to make the artwork look three-dimensional. The colors on mosaics today are just as bright and beautiful as they were 2,000 years ago. This is because most materials used to make mosaics are durable and don't lose color over time. The ancient Greeks invented mosaics hundreds of years before the Romans did. They used pebbles mixed with the cement used to make the mosaics pictures. In the 5th century BC, the Greeks were the first people to make mosaics. In the 8th century BC, the Middle East was the first place to learn how to embed stones. By using tesserae made of colored materials like stone, ceramic, and glass, the Romans made significant improvements to the method that had been started by the Greeks. The Romans were the first people to use many symbols common in Hellenistic culture and had their roots in Greek culture. This had designs that showed the sea and Greek myths. Throughout their history, the Romans came up with a way to make mosaics that included both their designs and figures from mythology. People often saw these mosaics in public places. On a mosaic that many people think is one of the best examples of Roman art, there is a picture of Alexander the Great. Philoxenus, or Aristides of Thebes, an ancient Greek painter, is thought to have made the first Hellenistic portrait of Alexander the Great, which the Romans copied precisely. Archaeologists have found the first Roman mosaic of its kind to be found in the UK. Following the advice of Historic England, a unique Roman mosaic and the villa complex next to it have both been named scheduled monuments to ensure they will be kept in good condition. The excavation work at the site was done by a team from the University of Leicester Archaeological Services. They worked together with Historic England and the Rutland County Council to get to this conclusion. In 2020, when the city was on lockdown, someone saw the mosaic and told the archaeology team at the Leicestershire County Council about it. This group gives historical and other kinds of advice to the city council. Because of how amazing this find is, Historic England got money to pay for the University of Leicester Archaeological Services to do immediate archaeological studies at the site in August 2020. In September 2021, the University of Leicester's School of Archaeology and Ancient History did more digging at the site. This lets them check out a more significant part of the place. Each piece of the mosaic, which is about 11 meters by 7 meters, shows a different scene from the story of Achilles, a hero from Greek mythology. People think that the art is on the floor of a large restaurant or entertainment area, but it is actually in both of these places. During the Roman Empire, mosaics were used to decorate various public and private buildings. Famous people from mythology and history were often shown in these mosaics. However, the Rutland mosaic is the only one in the United Kingdom. It shows Achilles fighting Hector at the end of the Trojan War, and it is one of the only few of its kind to be found anywhere in Europe. During the late Roman Empire, between the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the room in question was part of a large villa used as a place to live. During an archaeological dig and a geophysical investigation, several more buildings and features were found around the estate. This area's facilities and features include what look like aisled barns, round towers, and something that might be a bathhouse. Each of these is surrounded on all sides by a set of ditches. When the building was lived in, a wealthy person who knew a lot about historical books lived there. Fire damage and cracks in the mosaic are signs that the area was used for something else in the past. Human bones were found in the mud that covered the mosaic, which was another piece of evidence that was found. People think these graves were put in this spot after the building was no longer needed. At this point, we can't say for sure how old these graves are, but we know that they are older than the mosaic and were buried near where the villa was built. This makes it seem like the building was used for something else at some point in the late Roman or early Middle Ages. Their find shows some things that might have happened there in the early years after the Roman Empire fell. At this point in history, there isn't much known. This place was chosen to be preserved as a national monument because it is essential in a way that no other place is. It stops people from doing illegal work or without permission, like metal detecting without a permit, and it ensures that these remains are legally kept and can't be moved or destroyed. As part of the most recent round of investigations, the place in question was carefully looked into, and its condition was carefully recorded. Since then, it has been filled in to ensure that the people who come after us will be safe. The villas were found in a field that could be used for farming. The shallow archaeological remains that were found in the field had been messed up by plowing and other activities. Historic England is working with the landowner to turn these fields into grassland and grazing that can be cared for in a way that is good for the environment. These kinds of agri-environment projects are an important part of how we can protect the natural and historic environment, and they have saved an average of £13 million every year for the preservation of our rural heritage. They help keep historical landmarks like the Rutland Mosaic in good shape so that people in the future can continue to learn about and enjoy the fascinating history of our nation. This year, Historic England planned to do more digging on the site. They planned to do these things with the help of the University of Leicester and a few other partners. With the Rutland County Council, there were ongoing talks about the possibility of putting the villa complex and its treasures on display and giving them more context in another place. Future excavations will affect the shape and size of this work, and it will be the main focus of a future application for funding from the National Lottery Heritage Fund. It is not open to the public because it is on private property. Moreover, Roman mosaics can be found on the floors of pools, fountains, baths, columns, and vaults, among other places. Since they were waterproof, they were a good choice for the floors of Roman baths and swimming pools. At archaeological sites in Pompeii and Herculaneum, mosaics were found in wall niches and pediments. The subjects of the mosaics often look like those of Greek paintings from the past. In Rome, palaces, public buildings, and baths were often decorated with mosaics. People who lived in the Byzantine Empire on the other land used mosaics to decorate Christian churches. In these churches, you can find mosaics with Byzantine designs. They often have a gold background and show different holy figures. The Hagia Sophia in Constantinople is where you can see the most famous Byzantine mosaic. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more interesting videos. Thanks for watching.